Welcome to No Man's Land. My name's Nomad. I've been really bad at putting out videos lately. Uh, I've been on tour a lot this year, even more than I was last year. I think it's looking like I'm probably going to hit a hotel 300 nights this year. I'm currently up to, I think, 224, and it's still September, so I might hit 300 this year. I've been crazy busy, and I planned a bunch of videos, but I just haven't done them. Big reason is a lot of the videos I do are gear videos, and when I'm not home, I don't have my gear. So, but anyway, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've just been putting it off and putting it off. You know, every once in a while I'll get a day off, I'll be home, and I just don't want to work. I don't want to make videos, but seeing as I need a pretty good collection of cymbals to do this video, I decided I'm home and I'm going to do it today, because tomorrow a bunch of these cymbals are going to a friend of mine who's going to sell them for me. I've got loads of cymbals. I'm not going to be hurting for cymbals at all, but I have a surplus of cymbals, and I have to have a small operation next month that is going to put me out of work for a little while. So with, I figured out the gear I'm selling is worth about $4,500 worth of cymbals are going to go out tomorrow, used value. So that money will be helpful, and I'm sure I'll probably still have 4 full sets of cymbals left. But anyway, so my video today, I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. But I wanted to do a video for beginners on how to choose cymbals. I've been playing for 25 or almost 30 years now, and I've been through a lot of trial and error, and I just want to share some things that I've picked up. This might surprise you, but one thing that is not on this list of how to buy cymbals is brand. A lot of people are super brand. What am I thinking? They're brand loyal. Now I'm gonna say I am pretty brand loyal, but if I were starting from scratch, I would not be brand loyal. I would just buy whatever sounded good to me at the time. Now, the reason I'm brand loyal is because I've got a ton of Zildjians. My dad told me when I first started playing, because he grew up playing drums in the 60s and 70s, he told me there's Zildjians and there's everything else. So as a young drummer, I thought Zildjians are the only professional cymbals. I don't believe that now, but because that's how I got started, I have a lot of Zildjians. And my brand loyalty is just based on the fact that I already own them. I have the sounds I want. I have the sounds I need for different gigs. And I just don't need, I have no need to go buy or try other cymbals. I do have a few cymbals that are not Zildjians. But if I were to start from scratch and tried other brands, I'm sure with Paiste or Sabian or Meinl or any of the other really high quality cymbal makers out there, I'm sure I'd have no problem putting together a set of cymbals that I would love and would give me the sounds I need. So that being said, first thing I'm going to say is, if you're starting out, don't get hung up on brand. I really don't think one brand is better than others. I've personally found that some brands are the sound that I'm looking for, and I've also found some brands are more durable than others. But again, like I could play Sabians, I could play Paistes, I could play Meinls, go through their collection and find cymbals that I'm sure I would love. But that being said, this video is going to be stop and go because I want to do examples for everything. So first thing, don't worry about brand. Play what you like. I'll add to that also, actually play them. I've been playing for a long time. I do I do buy rather some cymbals that I buy online. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I don't. But if you're first starting out, you're probably not going to have a whole lot of money to spend. So I would say don't risk, unless you get a really, really good deal. Don't risk buying something you haven't played. If you only have the opportunity to buy one set of hi-hats, you only have money for one set of hi-hats, make sure you try them first. Because you can get, a lot of different sounds from a lot of different brands, and some of them you're not going to like. And I've got a good example that I'm going to use in a while of two cymbals that, for all intents and purposes, are identical but have completely different sounds. So I will set up my first example, and I'll be right back with you. All right, example one of things to take into consideration is size. Do you like big cymbals? Do you like small cymbals? Do you like a mix and match just for variety's sake? Typically speaking, in most of the times in my setups, I'll play a 16-inch crash and an 18-inch crash. And that's been kind of the standard for a long time. Right now, the fad that most people are doing are these really big, really thin crash cymbals, where an 18-inch is considered small. Now, granted, like the setup that I'm playing on my main kit at the moment is a little bit bigger sizes for me. I'm playing an 18-inch crash, a 19-inch crash ride, and a 20-inch ride. So those are a little bit bigger than me. I usually play 16, 18, and 20. But, people go through different phases. So anyway, this is our first example here of size difference, all right? These are identical cymbals except for the size. They are both Zildjian K Custom Dark crashes. This is a 16, this is an 18. Small cymbals tend to be brighter. Large cymbals tend to be a little bit darker. Again, this is all personal preference. If you're looking for a big sound, you're looking for a small sound, or maybe you're looking for both. That's why I usually play a 16 and an 18. Got one more example for this one. All right, this is a similar comparison. The last one were 16 and 18-inch K Custom Dark crashes. These are 16 and 18-inch Zildjian A medium thins. This cymbal is a very important one to me. This is the oldest cymbal I own that I purchased. I own a lot of cymbals that are actually older than it, but I didn't buy them new. This one I bought new because I wanted a smaller cymbal. My first drum set came with all 18-inch crashes. I wanted this smaller one, so I bought this one. And I've played, I can't even tell you how many hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 shows and rehearsals that I've done with this one. Anyway, Zildjian A, medium thin 16, and medium thin 18. Again, this is going to be brighter, this is going to be darker. Maybe a mix and match. Sometimes I'll play this medium thin A with the 18-inch dark, K-Custom Dark, if I want two big cymbals. Next thing to take into consideration is weight. Do you want a thin cymbal? Do you want a heavy cymbal? You want to stick somewhere in the middle? I didn't have a lot of great examples for crashes when it came to this category because almost all of my crashes are medium thins. I do have a few variations, but they're kind of extremes, like really big, heavy crashes or really small, thin crashes. So typically with crashes, you're going to have your paper thins, or they're sometimes called fast crashes, then thins, medium thins, mediums, and then you can have like projection crashes or rock crashes, which are going to be heavier. I'm using, for this example, a couple of my favorite rides. These are my two favorite rides, and they are so vastly different. They're both Zildjian Ks. This is, I think, it's an intermediate American K, 20-inch heavy ride, and this is a also 20-inch Zildjian K Constantinople medium thin low. They are so vastly different, but I love these two rides. I'll say 99 out of 100 times these two rides are what I'm using. So this one is the one I'm using right now on my main setup. I like it because it's got good stick definition for the ride, but it also crashes well. This one is super heavy, so it's got a great ping to it. It doesn't crash as well though. So here's the Constantinople, medium, thin, low. It's a little washy, but the ping is still there. It cuts through. This is the K heavy. So that one's got a lot more ping to it. It's a little brighter. But the reason I'm using this one right now is just that it's got a really good crash. Where this one doesn't as much. It's kind of gongy. It goes on and on. This one's thinner, so it's going to be quicker. This one has proven to be a little more difficult than the others. I don't use a whole lot of splashes. I have a bunch of them, but I don't use them often. So I just realized when I pulled these out that I don't have grumbles on any of them. But next thing to consider is what type of finish. Finish will have a huge effect on the sound. So for this one, I have 3 really similar cymbals in weight that are all the same size. This is a Zildjian K Splash traditional finish. Then I've got a Zildjian K Splash in brilliant finish. And then I've got a K Custom Zildjian Special Dry Splash. So this is going to be a natural finish, brilliant finish, and unlathed. So I'm just going to have to shoot these separately. But they're all 10-inch Zildjian K splashes. This is my personal favorite of the 3. It cuts through. It's bright. It's good for accent. I use a splash mostly when I'm doing musical theater. So this is a 10-inch. The main splash I use more than any other is the 12-inch version of this. So it's just a little bit bigger. This is same cymbal, but brilliant finish. Brilliant finish is going to have a brilliant sound. It's going to be brighter. And unlathed, that's why I like grumbles. It's going to be the darkest of them. It's the quickest. It's trashy. It gets in, it gets out. So I would say this is probably my second favorite of the 3, and the brilliant being the third. Next, we're going to talk about series. Like I say, you should really, especially for your first set, go out and try, find what you like. Series can play a big part. Don't find out your hero plays Zildjians or plays Sabians or plays a particular brand and then just go out and buy them blind or buy whatever's cheap. Try them out. So these are cymbals you already saw. The 16-inch Zildjian A medium thin and the 16-inch Zildjian K Custom dark. It's a huge difference. Here's another good example of series between the same brand sounding really different. These cymbals look really similar. Similar vintage, same size, same finish. This is my favorite splash right here. The K12 splash and a Zildjian A 12-inch splash. They look really similar, but they sound very different. By the way, look up grumbles. Those are the little things that allow me to just put cymbals on the stand without all the hardware and keep them safe. They're awesome, time saver, and you don't have to worry about losing them. They're a huge pain in the neck to put on initially, but after that, just leave them on. Again, similar vintage, same size, same finish, They even look really similar. A and K. That's my favorite splash right there. This is an example of why trying them is so important. I've got two cymbals here that, for all intents and purposes, are identical cymbals. They are both Zildjian A 16-inch medium thin crashes. This is the one that I bought new in the mid-90s and have played for a long time. This was given to me by my first drum teacher when he retired a couple years ago. I bought this because I liked the one that he had. So they are, for all intents and purposes, the same cymbal, but there's about 20 years difference. This one he bought new in the 70s, and this one I bought new in the 90s. They're a similar weight. Just in feeling them, his feels softer. Like the edges are softer, the laving is softer. Just because it's an older cymbal, it's been played a lot more. Mine, the laving is rougher, the edge is a little sharper. The edge was razor sharp. I actually cut my hands on it when I was a teenager, being stupid and trying to show off with my cymbals. But anyway, this is the 90s, this is the 70s. I think they both sound great, but they're definitely different. And if you just went on to some website and ordered a 16-inch medium thin crash, you could get either of these, or you could get something totally different. For a while, I actually had a third one. I took it in trade, and it was a brand new, 2021 or 2022 Zildjian A medium thin crash. And by these standards, it would be a thin or maybe even a paper thin. But it had the same stamp, it had the same logo. For all intents and purposes, it was the same cymbal, but it sounded vastly different. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this one up. I think the most important thing is use your ear and use your hands. When you're first starting out, again, unless you find a screaming deal, which I find a lot of really great deals online, I just can't pass them up. And at that point, I don't really care if I like them or not, because I can flip them and make a ton of money, which is a lot of fun if you've got the time to do the research. But go into the store, try them, hitting up Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, go try them before you commit to buy them. Obviously, don't go slam on someone's cymbals and make them uncomfortable. If you go in and start beating on them, they're definitely going to want you to buy them. But trying them yourself and using your ears and finding what you like, and experiment, and don't be in a hurry. Don't buy something just because it's there and you want something, because cymbals are super expensive. I've got 7 cymbal bags absolutely packed to the gills. I actually just bought a 8th cymbal case because I wanted a really heavy duty case for some travel that I've got coming up probably in the next few years. But these are expensive. Take your time. Get what you like. There's deals to be found out there. I'm going to go over real quick a couple of my primary setups that I use for different things. Right now, the setup that I'm using is my old Zildjian A 14-inch hi-hats that I put them together. The bottom one is a fairly heavy 70s Zildjian A, and the top one is a much lighter 60s Zildjian A. That's my preference, is to have a heavy bottom with kind of a medium thin top to it. I'm using a K Constantinople 18-inch crash, a Zildjian Karope 19-inch crash ride, and a Zildjian K Constantinople medium thin low. That's the one I showed side by side with my K heavy ride. That's the one I'm doing right now. It's a mellow setup. It's great for country. It's great for jazz or folk. It would be pretty good for musical theater. The main setup that I use as kind of my default setup is the same 14-inch hi-hats with the two Zildjian A medium thin crashes, the 16 and the 18, and then that K heavy ride. And as needed, sometimes I'll put that 12-inch splash, Zildjian K splash on there, or a 17-inch Zildjian K China. I'm not big on splashes. I'm not big on Chinas. I have a ton of splashes for someone who doesn't really use splashes. And I've got a few Chinas. Actually, I think I have 3 Chinas, but 2 of them are the same. I've got 2 17-inch K Chinas. I only have 2 because I let someone borrow one and he cracked it. And I'm going to still play that one until it completely falls apart. And then I'll swap over to the other one. But yeah, those are my 2 primary setups. I have other ones as well. I have an entire set of cymbals that my first drum teacher gave me a couple of years ago when he retired. 70s 14-inch Zildjian A's, 70s or maybe 60s 20-inch Zildjian A medium ride, yeah, and then that other 16-inch medium thin, and then a 14-inch Zildjian A thin. Those are the cymbals that he used for, I don't know, 40 years. And when he retired, he just decided he was going to go down to a real small setup. And he offered to give me his drum set and his cymbals if I drove out to New Hampshire to get them, which I did. It's the cheapest drum set I own, but probably the most sentimental. If I have 2 really high-end Sonar drum sets, and if the house is on fire, I would save that kit that was given to me. I've got a few other pairs of hi-hats that I'll pull out for different sounds. I've got a 14-inch Zildjian Karope on the top and a K-Custom Special Dry on the bottom. They're thinner hats. If you want a thinner sound, they're great. I don't use them too much. Then I also have a set of Zildjian K Sweet hats that are very, very heavy. And again, it's just it's a different sound and a different feel. I love crash rides, or rides that you can crash on. I showed you that 20-inch K Constantinople. It's got a good ride and a great crash. I've also got the 19-inch Karope crash ride. I've got the Avidus reissue 19-inch crash ride. I'm thinking I might do a gig sometime with those 2 crash rides and no ride. I've also got a big, well, it's big for me. I tend to use smaller rides. Big 21-inch Zildjian K crash ride. Brilliant. That's really, really nice. Super great articulation and a very decent crash. And then I also have a 21-inch Zildjian K Sweet Ride that has a good ride and a fantastic crash. Anyway, that's it. For this one, this one's probably going to take me a while to edit, put all the pieces together. I've decided that I'm going to start doing some travel videos as well, and not just gear videos. Talk about my travels, where I'm going, what I'm doing, and I'm going to have a series coming up on my favorite place to go in the world, which is the Philippines. I've been going there since I was a teenager. I went there for the first time in 1998. Absolutely loved it. Went back as often as I possibly could, and now I'm going there 2 or 3 times a year for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. I absolutely love it. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to go to Asia and doesn't know where to start. I've been all over Asia and love the continent, but the Philippines is a special place in my heart, and I'll go through some reasons why in following videos. So have a good one, guys. Look forward to seeing you soon, and I'm going to try to start putting out more videos and motivating myself to not just crash after a big event or go back to my hotel room and play video games, and actually want to be productive. Anyway, guys, have a good one. See you soon.